Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the 2020 Virtual Festival of Nations. We welcome you this year to a new version of our annual event and hope that you enjoy the many activities and events that we have planned for this weekend. We will be offering live music, language lessons, cooking demonstrations, and more. Be sure to visit all the pages of the Festival of Nations website at festivalofnationsstl.org. Under Discover, you can find all the live event and sign-up links. You can also check out other tabs to learn where you can get the best international food, how to make global crafts, and share your own family traditions. Make sure you sign up for our newsletters for a chance to win one of 4 international restaurant gift cards. Also, the International Institute will be sharing a big announcement with the community in the next few weeks. So please remember to sign up to receive our email updates, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter so we don't miss the news. Finally, we'd like to say a quick thank you to our sponsors who continue to support the Festival of Nations and the critical work that the International Institute is doing, even more amid a global pandemic. Please note that you can answer any questions throughout the event on the chat, and they will be answered by the panelists. Thank you for joining us and keeping the spirit of the festival alive and well. Now I turn it over to Bomi Park.
Hello, I'm Bomi Park. I'm the Assistant Project Manager at the St. Louis Mosaic Project and the World Trade Center St. Louis. And I did a cooking yesterday, and I hope you get to watch the recording or catch the recipe on the website. Today, we're doing language lesson. Obviously, we don't have a ton of time. We just have 15 to 20 minutes each. So I'm going to teach you the Korean portion of it, and Shirley Moran is going to do Spanish. She's from Mexico, and Nadia from the International Institute. She's originally from Iraq, but she's been here a while in St. Louis. We're all St. Louisans now. So we decided to do this language course because language is a huge part of a culture. So although it's going to be very brief and just a taste of a language that you're going to learn, but you're going to be able to feel more connected with your foreign-born neighbors, and you're going to be able to see maybe 1 or 2 things in Korean, Spanish, maybe in Arabic language today. So I'm going to share my deck here. So I'm going to go first with my Korean lesson. Just let me know if you can't see it. I'm going to make it in presentation mode. All right. So you think you want to learn Korean. Korean has become more and more popular with K-pop culture these days. So that's been an interesting experience for myself. And I've been here in St. Louis, well, in the States for about 10 to 12 years now. And I think Korean language and Korean culture has become so much well known now. So I'm excited to tell you a little bit more about Korean language today. So I'm going to teach you very, very basic things. Today we're going to learn how to say hello and goodbye. And the funny thing is, it's kind of like aloha. They're the same. You can say hello, hello, question and answer. That's kind of a key in Korean language. And I'll tell you a little bit about the sentence structure and how the culture plays a role in the language. And we will learn about learning how to read Korean in 15 minutes. You're gonna have to do it on your own, but I promise you, you can learn in 15 minutes how to read in Korean, very, very basic. So I think that's pretty cool. It's a very different language, but you can learn how to read pretty easily. So like I said, saying hello is pronounced 안녕. And this is the very, probably the most basic way of saying hello in Korean, because Korean language has different tiers of saying the same thing depending on the formality. You know, are you speaking to your friends? Are you speaking to your colleagues? Are you speaking to your teacher, or somebody with authority, who has more authority than you? So that's very important in Korean language, but this 안녕 is very universal. This is something you can say to your friends. And if a Korean person knows that you're a foreigner, and if you say 안녕, they're not going to be offended, even if they're supposedly, you know, more authoritative person or older person. You know, they're not gonna be offended. They're gonna give you brownie points, lots of brownie points for trying. So you can say 안녕 or 안녕하세요 is usually the formal version of it, but 안녕 is saying hello. And we say this as we see people for the first time, you know, other day, you can say 안녕, and you can say it as goodbye, 안녕. And this is a very important sentence in Korean. So this is like our how are you. We don't really say how are you the way literally it means how are you in Korean. This is used more often than how are you. So this is saying, have you eaten? And I've eaten. This is a really important question. We ask this question during the day, throughout the day, all day. So this is asked at 8 a.m. 밥 먹었어? 밥 means rice. It means a meal. It means food. So 밥 is synonym for all those things. So 밥 literally means rice, but to us, bowl of rice basically is, you know, a meal. And to us, that's food. So 밥 means rice, food, a meal. So 밥 먹었어? Asking, that is, have you eaten? So you would be asked this question 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m., just depending on what time of the day you're asked. That means like, have you eaten breakfast? Have you eaten lunch? And I think this is a big sentence and a huge part of the culture, because we used to be really poor and people were not able to eat all the time. And this was kind of asking like how you are doing. Like if you have eaten, you probably are doing pretty okay. So that's an important question. And again, you can answer this with the same exact word. 밥 먹었어. Yeah, I have eaten. Ooh, that is my cat going crazy after pop. And this means I love you. And what is interesting about this is that there's no I in I love you. There's no you in I love you. A lot of Korean sentences, you have to figure out who it's directed to. And usually it's very easy. You know, if I'm saying, you know, I do love you to you, we just assume that it's directed to me. Like, oh, it's a verb, you mean love, and it's directed to me. You're talking to me, so you mean you love me. We just know by context who it's directed to. So a lot of the times Korean sentences don't have subject or the like object in the sentence. We just know who it's supposed to be for, and we don't say a lot of he or she. We figure out who that in the context, who that is about. So I guess that could be tricky to language learner who is first learning the language, but you would usually know who it's for, who it's directed to. So saying I love you in Korean is 사랑해. So 사랑 means love. 해 means, 해 makes verb or noun kind of an action verb. So 사랑 is a noun, means love. If you have 해, it means you do love. So you love as a verb. 사랑해. And I think 랑, the middle one, is a very hard pronunciation for a lot of foreign people. It's kind of between L and R. We don't really have L's or R's, but it's somewhere in between. So things like Walmart, journal, squirrel, those are really hard to say. Like for me still, I still have to kind of wait, stop myself, think about it, and say it. Because R and L, when they crash, it's so hard for us to distinguish it. Girl, like R and L sounds are really hard. And things like Walmart has L and then R. and I don't know if I really still say it right. Journal. That was such a hard word for me to say it because we have this L and R kind of, but L and R to us is translated, I mean, to this lang, li sound, and I still struggle. And this is probably one of the words that foreigners find it really hard to pronounce, but yeah, 사랑해. 사랑해 is I love you. And you can also, again, ask this as a question. Do you love me, 사랑해? So like I said, the context is everything. Like, are you talking to me or is she talking to him? You just have to figure out what's going on. So you have to really pay attention. And this is funny. So in English language, if you say yo, just like yo, and that's very informal, but maybe you would kind of associate this with very informal, very casual. But in Korean, if you end the sentence with yo, that's formalizing it. So normally you would hear something 했어요, 먹었어요, 안녕하세요. So that's formalizing. So it's not always that simple. You know, we learned how to say 안녕, saying hello. So you don't say 안녕요, but you say 안녕하세요. So that's going to be a little bit more in depth. And if you wanted to learn Korean a little bit further, but if you said something that you know, like you learned 안녕, so you don't know how to formalize it to say it to a Korean grandpa, and you end up saying 안녕요, they are going to know that you're trying to formalize your language to pay them respect. So yo, when a sentence ends with yo, it's formalizing it. So you would hear that a lot in the Korean dramas, something yo. They're talking about, they're talking to somebody who they need to pay respect to. Either they're the supervisor, the boss, the older. In Korean culture, who's older is super, super, super important. So it's very rare here that you would ask a person how old they are when they first meet each other, but it's very common in Korea. You meet each other, oh, like, hey, my name is Bomi and I was born in 91. How, what year were you born in? So we kind of figure out how we're gonna use our language to respect them, because we respect the elderlies, and the language is a big, big part of it. So again, this is 사랑해, which means I love you. And if you say 사랑해 yo at the end, if I put yo at the end, that means I love you still, but it's like more formal. So you would say that to like your mom. 엄마 means mom, and 엄마 사랑해요. You would say that to your mom, or just more formal way of saying it. So like I said, learning how to read in Korean, you think it may be crazy. You may think it's crazy that I am telling you that you can learn how to read in a totally different language in 15 minutes, but I'll teach you, just like give a taste of it. So this is the chart of Korean language. Hangul. Hangul is the Korean letters, and Korean people speak Korean, not any other people speak Korean in any other parts of the country. So not country, world. But yeah, this is what we use. The consonants, the vowels, and you can combine the vowels and make another sound. So though that's it. There's not like thousands and thousands of letters like Chinese language. So I'll show you how it works. The first sound that kind of looks like a desk, part of a desk, is the first letter we have in Hangul. It makes a g sound, g. And the vowel, the first one is a, that makes an a sound. So g plus a is ga. So that's the sound. And g plus ya is gya. And g plus a plus if it's ending with another consonant there, it's going to be gu, a, gu. So it's kag, kag. They don't necessarily mean anything. I just wanted to show you. But you know, it's really that simple. It's really scientific. So it's really easy to learn and figure it out. So consonant, it always ends with, I don't know how to explain it. It may sound a little bit choppy versus English language, because we like to end with a consonant kind of. So you can follow this link and learn how to read Korean. There's a really awesome, this is a cut of a cartoon that I have, and they tell you really, really simple and easy to learn. And I will share that with you on the chat, or maybe as a follow-up. And it's on the bottom of the page as well, you can see. So you can really teach yourself 15 minutes. So that's, I know that's not a lot, and it's not enough for you to go to Korea just with it, but you know enough that, oh, like somebody asked me a question, I could probably answer that question with the same sentence. And if somebody's saying yo, you know, like they're paying respect to you. So very, very simple. I hope that kind of more provoked your curiosity for learning Korean further. So I hope I played a small role in that. And I'll turn it over to Nadia now and share her deck now. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna get out of this. And share this. Nadia, go ahead and unmute yourself, please, and it's all yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nadia, and I am originally from Iraq. And I've been in the United States, or St. Louis, actually, for more than 22 years. And it's my pleasure today to be here with you to learn little Arabic. Well, first I want to say I choose for my PowerPoint, I choose the blue because Arabic language born in Mesopotamia and Egypt both have the rivers, the Nile, and we all know about Mesopotamia. That's why I choose the blue color for my PowerPoint. So let's go next, please. Next slide, Bami, please. Okay. Hello, the way we say hello in Arabic is marhaba. Most of us confuse, we say salam. Salam actually means hello for Muslim religion. It's not an Arabic words. It's a greeting for Muslims. So for Arabic, it's marhaba. To learn more about Arabic, we want to learn a little bit, some features about the Arabic language. First, we want to know that Arabic language is written from right to left. That's why when I translate any script, I have to keep flipping my brain, left to right, right to left. So we know first that Arabic is right to left. Second, letters within words are connected in cursive style rather than printed individually. Arabic, when we write it, is actually cursive. Short vowels are normally invisible. And also, there is no distinction between uppercase and lowercase letters. And when I was searching about the Arabic language, I learned something really cool, that Arabic is very close to Hebrew and Amharic language. And today we will learn the classical Arabic. We call it the Fusha, because each country in the Middle East, and by the way, there is 24 countries in the Middle East that speak Arabic. Each country have a different dialogue. Today, we will learn the main Arabic language, which we call it the Fusha. Next slide, please. Here you go. We have 28 letters in Arabic. Some of those letters we cannot pronounce in English. So as you see, the first letter, which is, we call it Alif, and Alif meet A in English. The ba meet the B letter in English. Ta meet the T letter in English. Tha, we don't have it in English, but maybe sometimes it meets the TH. Jim letter, maybe G in English. Ha, we don't have it in English, so maybe it can meet the H letter in English. Ha, which is come from the upper of your throat. Ha, ha. Ha, if you speak Hebrew, you can pronounce this letter. Ha, we really don't have it in English, so maybe sometimes when we want to write it, we'll meet the KH in English. Letter Dal meet D, which is easy. Thal, the, we don't have it in English, but sometimes it meets the TH as well. Letter Ra, which is the R. Letter Z, Zai, which meets the Z. Sin meet the S. Sheen meet the SH in English. Sad, we really don't have it in English letters, but maybe the sound we can use S for it, but doesn't sound S, is sad. That letter that coming, it's called Dad. Dad, it's the only letter available in Arabic language. That's why they call it the Dad language. The is coming in the beginning of your mouth. Dad language. Maybe sometimes in English we'll meet it with D. Ta, also we don't have it in English. Maybe it will meet the letter T. Vad, letter Vad, we don't have it in English. Maybe sometimes it will meet when the letter ZA in English. The letter Ain, also it comes from the middle of your throat. Ain, we don't have it in English. Sometimes when we write it down, we use the letter A for it in English. And of course, this letter is kind of difficult to pronounce in English, which is Ra, Rain. Ra, Rain. For Rain, sometimes we use the letter G in English. Fa will meet the letter F. Qaf will meet the letter Q. We don't have it in English. It's qa, qaf. Kaf will meet the letter K in English. Lam will meet the letter L in English. Mim will meet M. Ha will meet the letter H, ha. Waw, W. Ya will meet the letter Y in English. The last one is not really a letter, which we call it Hamza, A. It depends when the letter A will come and the pronunciation for letter A. Sometimes we put it on the top of letter Alif, A. It looks like one, the first letter in the alphabet. Sometimes we put it on the top of it, sometimes underneath it. It depends on the pronunciation for the letter. Next slide, please. Okay, here it's, I like to add the number from 0 to 10. We usually write it from right to left, but here we have it from left to right because each number will meet with the English number. So I don't want you to be confused with that. So this is the way we put it, from left to right. For 0, we say صفر. 0, it meets with صفر. 1, we say واحد. 2, we say اثنان. 3, we say ثلاثة. 4, we say أربعة. 5, we say خمسة. 6, we say ستة. 7, we say سبعة. 8, we say ثمانية. I'm sorry. 9, we say تسعة. 10, we say عشرة. So here we learn from 0 to 10 in Arabic. We will move up to the next slide. Here the fun part. I choose some few words so we can to learn how to say it and pronounce it in Arabic. Hello. How to say hello in Arabic? As I said, مرحبا. مرحبا. How are you? كيف حالك? For male. كيف حالك? We add the I letter in the end because it's different when you talk to male to female. So كيف حالك for male, كيف حالك for female. My name, أنا اسمي. And then you say your name. أنا اسمي. Good morning, صباح الخير. Good morning is صباح الخير. I love you. أنا أحبك. So أنا is I. أحبك is love you. And sometimes we say, like Korean, as Bambi mentioned, we don't have to say the I. Sometimes we just say أحبك. We don't say I. We don't say أنا. أنا means I. Thank you. شكرا. And shukran today for all of you who attend this session. Next slide, please. I would like to mention a few figures about the Arabic language. Arabic language is the 5th most commonly spoken language in the world. There is 280 million native speakers. There is 530 million speakers in the world. A lot of people interested to learn the Arabic language. It's one of the fastest growing language in the world. This is all what I have today about the Arabic language. Please visit the YouTube. There is a lot of good Arabic lessons on YouTube that I found out if you want to learn more about Arabic language. Thank you very much. Shukran.
Thank you, Nadia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting that you guys don't say subject either. We just figure it out. We're
Yep.
talking to.
Right.
I'm gonna share it last, Shirley's deck. Whenever you're ready, Shirley.
Perfect. Thank you, Bonnie. My name is Shirley Moran. I'm from Mexico City, and I moved to St. Louis 2 years ago. And now I'm very happy to call St. Louis my home, and I love it here. And I'm so happy this is happening today, even though we cannot go to Forest Park, just and just eat all the delicious food. I love Festival of Nations. It's one of my favorite festivals here in St. Louis. But we're here and we're getting to you and bringing you some international knowledge. So I'm going to teach you today a little bit of Spanish for travelers. And so I won't be talking a lot about how to interact with formal stuff or just saying I love you that I didn't include. I'm sorry, but I'll be teaching you a little bit more of how to get by if you want to or are planning to or are just wishing to going to Mexico anytime soon. So the first thing is bienvenidos. This is the word I love, and that means welcome. And bienvenidos today to this Spanish class. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about greetings. So how to say hello is hola. Hola is universal and it's very good and you can use it anytime. to say hello to people. However, when you get to places like your hotel at night, or when you enter a store or a restaurant, you would not normally say hola. You would say buenos días, which is good morning, or buenas tardes, if it's good afternoon. Next, please, Bobby. Buenos días, it's good morning. So buenos, it's good, and días, it's not morning, it's days, but whenever we say morning, it's buenos días. The next one, it's buenas tardes. Tardes is afternoon. And something that I forgot to mention really early on, it's we don't combine the sounds of vocals. So if you see a U, it's U. And then an E, it's E. Buenas. You always pronounce each word. Like if anywhere you find the same vocal, it has its sound and it will sound the same way anywhere. So that's very easy in Spanish. We only have 5 vocals, and those vocals sound the same anywhere they are, no matter what letter is before or after, or they just start a word with that letter. So the second part is buenas tardes, and the next one, it's buenas noches. This is a little different from the English language because we just have buenas noches. So it doesn't matter whenever you say evening, or sometimes that was hard for me whenever I moved because I would say good night a lot. And I didn't understand that good night is only whenever you're ready to go to bed. You don't enter a store and say, hey, good night. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. But in Spanish, it does make sense. And you would say buenas noches, even if you're telling someone you're going to bed to have sweet dreams, or if you're entering a restaurant or a nightclub at night, you say buenas noches. Next. So those are greetings. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about basic words. So the basic word is sí for yes and no for no. So that's an easy one. We only just don't say that no, no. We just say no. That's it. And sí, it's always a good, you always want to know how to say sí. Next, please. Por favor. That's something super important. I don't know, like I feel like in the US it's less formal to say please for everything, but in Mexico we say please to everybody for everything. So can I have juice please? Or can I have a menu please? Like it's, politeness is being polite is very, very important in Mexico, and we're very sensitive about it. If you don't say please for everything, we will find that the other person is rude. So always make sure you attach please to your words. And that's something very important. We normally say thank you, gracias, but we say muchas gracias. If someone, like whenever they bring you the food in a restaurant, or whenever someone is helping you do something, you say muchas gracias, because we're just very warm. Like people in Mexico are very warm, and they always want to say, I always use muchas gracias, like the whole thing. Next. And this is very important. Sí, gracias, no, gracias. Do you want, I don't know, do you want me to help you with your luggage? No, gracias. Very important to say gracias, even though you want to say yes or you want to say no. Always keep that gracias there. And whenever you want to say you're welcome, this phrase doesn't make any sense because it's like for nothing. But that's how we say it. We just say de nada. And if you ask any Mexican, like, we don't even understand what does that mean. We just know it's you're welcome. Like if someone is making you a favor and they're like gracias, and you're like, oh, you're de nada, you're welcome. So that's another one. So whenever you go to a different country, you normally have a lot of questions. So we're gonna talk a little bit about how to ask questions. The first rule about questions is you didn't just start the question. You say, excuse me. So people know that you're referring to them, because people in Mexico are running around all the time. So you want to just make sure you stop them, you call their attention, because if not, people will just walk by, even if you start asking a question. So you have to say, disculpe, disculpe. This is like your plural for this. So disculpe. the these in Spanish are always like the tongue goes in between your teeth. These. Disculpe. Disculpe. Next, please. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está? Where is, and we're going to see what some words. ¿Dónde está? Where is? Next one, please. Some things you want to know is, ¿dónde está el baño? This little word, this little letter, you don't have it in English, and it's a little different. We normally sound it like NY. ¿Dónde está el baño? Baño. So normally, like if you want to go to the bathroom, just ask, ¿dónde está el baño? Or, ¿dónde está el museo? That's a very easy one because it's almost the same. Or same thing with pharmacy. ¿Dónde está la farmacia? Farmacia. So that's another thing to know. In Mexico, we don't have the drugstores and pharmacies are always together. So if you want to over the counter or behind the counter, you'll go to la farmacia to normally make sure a good one to know that it's the same. It's diarrhea. In Spanish is diarrhea. So normally all of tourists that go to Mexico get that, and we call that the traveler's diarrhea, and it's because our water is just not as clean, I would have to say. So always be careful, and I'm going to teach you a little bit more about water later on how to say it. But this is a good one, a good question that you will always want to ask. ¿Cuánto cuesta? So as you see here again, in Spanish we enunciate a lot. ¿Cuánto cuesta? So ¿cuánto cuesta is how much is it? Normally, it's just like any other country, you always can negotiate the price. So like if you say no for the first time, oh, I don't know, $10. No gracias. You turn around and say no gracias. And then they will come again and say, well, how much do you want to pay? Or just start giving you more numbers and just bargaining with you and getting to an agreement. But ¿cuánto cuesta? And it's a good one. And always remember to use disculpe first. Disculpe, ¿cuánto cuesta? And you just point. Eso. You just need a point. Like people will understand you. And now about the language, you need to know, you need to be able to tell that you are understanding or that you're not understanding what they're saying. So if you speak Spanish, you would say, if you don't speak Spanish, like I assume most of the people here, I would recommend, if you know the basics, still say you don't speak Spanish, because if not, you'll just get in trouble. So yo, it's me, yo. In Spanish, the Y sounds like a J. Yo. It's very strong. So that's another thing. Whenever I moved here, I would say yes. And my husband was like, no, you didn't say yes, it's yes. So the Y, it's not an I and an E. That's how it would sound in Spanish. The Y sounds like a J. So yo no hablo español. That's another thing. The H, it's always silent. So we just have it like an ornament, like a baby ornament there, but it's yo no hablo español. And then people will figure it out, right? That's something about Mexican culture. We're very warm and we'll figure it out. We'll write it down, we'll show pictures, or just find someone that can speak English. The next one, please, is yo hablo poquito español. Poquito, it's a beautiful word. It sounds, to me, it sounds so pretty. It's like a cute word. Poquito. The real word is poco. Poco, it's a little. But Mexicans, I don't know why, will love saying like little things, like adding the little to everything. So if your name is Juan, we'll call you Juanito. ITO at the end of the word is just a little cutesy thing that we put to everything. So if you hear ITO, it's for male things. That's another thing. In Spanish, everything has a gender. So everything is a she or a he, which is weird. But languages, español, it's a he. So yo hablo poquito español. And if you use your hand like this, that's just perfect. You always want to say poquito like this. Yo hablo poquito español. So I can speak a little Spanish. And if you understand Spanish, because there's a lot of people that do not know how to speak, but do understand some Spanish. It's yo no, this is here we're going to talk first about not understanding. Yo no entiendo español. So entender, it's understand. Yo no entiendo español. Next one. And that's a good one. You want to know if they know how to speak English. So questions, it's just enunciation. There's no, like, you don't have to flip the orders like you do in English. You don't have to say, do you speak English? ¿Usted habla inglés? It's an affirmation. ¿Usted habla inglés? It's just change the tone. Like you go up at the end. ¿Usted habla inglés? And that's how you know that's a question. So you don't have to really think about it. You just have to pronounce it as a question and people will know you're asking. So, ¿usted habla inglés? Maybe yes, maybe not. Hopefully yes, we'll figure it out. And the next one, oh, okay. So this is my favorite part of learning Spanish. And this is a very important part for me whenever I go to countries to know how to get by. And especially if you're American, Mexico, it's very important to know some basics. But also if you're a picky eater, make sure you know how to say, I don't like this or that, to make sure you don't find an extra price in your meal. So, for example, I'm gonna just give a quick example. I hate onions. And if I order something and there's onions inside of it, I would not eat it. So I figure out whenever I go to places whenever it's not English or Spanish, how to say onions. So I'll make sure that they don't add onions. So that's a quick example. Whenever you go somewhere and you order a food, you say yo quiero, I want, yo quiero. Next one. And it could be comer, comer. If you say it's not comer, it's not ka, it's ko. You need to make your mouth like a round, like a circle. Yo quiero comer, comer. So that's important. We don't have the ka. The sound that it's normally a and o together. We pronounce our o's like o's, hard o's. So comer, it's to eat. And the next one, tomar o beber, it's to drink. So whenever you go to a restaurant, people will ask, what do you want to eat and what do you want to drink, right? So, ¿qué quieres comer? It's what do you want to eat? ¿Qué quieres tomar? What do you want to drink? So let's go to the next one. This is a very important one. Mexican food is spicy, for sure, sometimes, but normally the spicy or the hotness of it comes from sauce. So sauce, I know you know and you love your regular salsa. Salsa is a word that we use here for the regular red sauce, tomato sauce, where you dip your chips. So the fun part is that you already know that word, but in Spanish, any kind of sauce, it's salsa. So salsa, it's just the Spanish word for sauce. So normally hot sauce is related to hot, to the spiciness of the meal. And in restaurants, normally people will add it on top of things. So you want to make sure you order your food sin is without. Sin, picante. Picante is like piquant, that I think you guys know, or salsa, same thing. So please don't put hot sauce on it. Sin picante or sin salsa. And the next one is, I don't know what kind of meat you like to eat, but we're gonna learn how to say the three different kinds of the basic ones. I know there are a lot, but the basic ones that we're gonna see here. So pollo, it's chicken. Again, L together will sound like a J. Pollo, pollo, pollo. So pollo is chicken. Res, that's a hard one because we roll our R's. It's res. Res. Res is beef. And then cerdo, cerdo. The C sounds like a C, like an S. Cerdo or puerco. Puerco. Again, like even though the letters, the vocals are together, the vocals keep their own sound. Puerco. So that's pork. And that's it for today. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I'll give it back to Bomi.
Thank you, Shirley. I love how you have to learn. Please don't put hot sauce on my food. That's a very important question. Like, it is a very important sentence to know in Korea to say, have you eaten? So I think just a little snippet of these each languages give a little context to the culture. You know, like, this is not enough to go travel today, but I think it gives all of us a good idea of what this culture may be more focused on, you know. So I think it was really important for me to learn, really interesting me to learn. So I hope you guys all learned something that you didn't know before, and it made you feel more kind of empathetic towards foreign-borners. You know a little bit more about them, and now you know to be a little bit more kind to non-English as a language people. So thank you for joining us. I don't know, Christina, if you had anything to add.
Yes, I do real quick. We will be, I say thank you to Bomi, Shirley, and Nadia for your language lessons this morning. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We will be sending out a brief survey to get your feedback from this event. For other upcoming events this weekend, visit the Discover page on the Festival of Nations website. Also check out the Learn page to take a virtual tour of the St. Louis sister cities. Plus check out a map to see all the different religions represented in St. Louis, and to make some traditional arts and crafts for children. Also, you can share your heritage story on the festival memory on the site. And finally, missing the food from the festival, check out the taste page for a list of ethnic vendors or ethnic restaurants, including festival vendors. I hope you enjoy the remainder of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nadia, Shirley. Thank you, Christina. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.